So we start out with perpendicular bisector. We already know how to do that here, 112. So why don't we just go down, and you guys just do that first perpendicular bisector, okay? Make sure you get enough practice with that. I know you know how to do that. There's no way you can't know how to do that. That's the first one we learned. If you don't know how to do that, you better fix that issue on your own. You got me?
I'm fighting with the spinny thing.
Well, you know,
Well, compass, that's the name of it.
it is called a compass, that's true.
I just called it spinny thing.
So silly.
Oh, I missed my lines.
It says, so, what?
Yeah, wait, who thought of the idea of this naming a compass? I thought this was called a protractor.
Protractor's a thing, it's got all the, like this, it's got the angle
Oh, yeah.
pretty much on it.
All right.
Guys, quiet. Now I'm gonna get my straight edge here. That's not it. That's my straight edge, and that color.
I know there's better ways to do this from. My way's gonna have to.
So something like that. Okay, we're all good with this now, right? I mean, please know how to at least do this, okay? I mean, they're going to ask you to just do a perpendicular bisector in regions, but you need it to do so many other things, okay? So we're good then? Let's move along. What is the next one? Okay, so now remember how to do a perpendicular bisector, right? And what made it easy is you had endpoints of the line segment to work with, right? Okay? So now in this particular one, we're going to construct a perpendicular line to a segment through a point that's on the line, just somewhere on the line, not necessarily the middle of it, okay? So we don't really have a midpoint that we're given. It could be anywhere on the line. Got me? So it's a little different than perpendicular bisector. Well, why don't we all take a minute and take a look at the step-by-step here, all right? All of you on your own, and then we'll see who can make themselves understand it, all right? So it's just like a perpendicular bisector, but we don't have like these equidistant endpoints to work with, right? So we have to make those, don't we? So this first step here is you just put your compass on the point that they want the thing to go through and make a mark on that side and on the other side. So now those two marks you made, are they not going to be equidistant from that point? They will be, right? And now you can treat this right here like a segment for a perpendicular bisector. Does that make sense? Now, it's not going to be a bisector of the segment because the point's off center, right? But it's going to be perpendicular through that point. It'll be a bisector of this little length you made here, okay? And that's all there is to it. So how many understand how to do perpendicular line through a point randomly on the line? You know how to do a perpendicular bisector? It's just that, except, you know, you got to make up your own endpoints. Same distance on each side of it, right? In other words, you have to make the point they want like a midpoint of something, don't you? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? Because when I put my compass over here and spin it around here, haven't I not made this the midpoint of that segment right there? Right, so that's why it's kind of like perpendicular bisector, except you're just doing that midpoint thing somewhere else on the line. If that makes sense, right? So that being said, let's try that down here. Construct a perpendicular line through a point on the line. So everyone right now, do these two. And I'll work on it as you are. So I need this guy. Of course, this will always go way up here. What's that?
I just put lead back in this.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me just put that back and get a little one out. Just here. I don't want to waste any time with that. So give me that.
Another Germany one.
Okay. Remember, if you got a problem with the compass, just set it up here. So, first thing I'm going to do. Put that on there. Open it up some distance. Doesn't matter too much how far, right? I guess because that one's already blue. Black. there, screw it around, get a mark here. Now, I'm just going to do the same thing we've been doing and make a perpendicular bisector, just this segment I have here. All right? But be careful. One of the things where kids, one mistake that could be made here is you leave your compass right here like this.
You don't want to do that.
Remember, now you have to open it up well past halfway, right? Okay? You come here, just little thingy there.
Still looks to be something different.
I don't think it does. Does it? Like what?
It does not know.
Gosh, she's just built over. There's only 3 different ways to do it.
Different.
Okay? Get that out of the way, or that. I don't, let's straight edge out. Goes down through there. If we did this right, yeah, I gotta fix that up.
I did it the unconventional way.
Okay, then, well,
Yeah, I can go.
so hopefully it looks like what I have up here.
Yeah, I'm lost.
You're lost. Can you do a perpendicular bisector?
Mine looks pretty good,
Do
not
it
gonna lie.
with the measurements and the lines that we put on there, or do you just do it one there?
Oh,
No, I do it. I make these marks here, and I just do the perpendicular bisector on this
What I did,
segment that I make. Can you make these marks?
I did it.
So now just do the perpendicular bisector of this segment that we made here.
Miss Trapper.
That's all.
Let me see what action did.
Would you show her? I think you're overthinking this.
So,
That's what, and that happens sometimes. Something that's super simple, you think, oh my God, it's supposed to be just got done those ridiculous proofs, right? It's actually easier than you think.
they are ridiculous.
oh, yeah. So we have any more?
Believe me, those proofs that you saw, even though the 12 steps, if you ever get into major in math in college, it's not, that's child's play. That's nothing, okay?
Yeah, I'll let them go.
I remember having to do some that went 3 or 4 pages long. Of really esoteric things like proving that 0 does not equal 1.
I think I'm
Nuh-uh.
Oh, yeah.
Could you explain that?
It has to be established for some other reasons, so yeah, it's a proof. And there's other proofs,
Is it long?
there's other proofs out there. I'll pause this while we're.
Zero.
Okay, so that's perpendicular through any point on the line, right? You just make your own equidistant endpoints and do perpendicular bisector, okay? The next one. Now we're going to do a perpendicular line through a point not on the line. So we have the line here and this point up here, okay?
So do we put the
Now, hold on. You're going to read it over. So what I want you to think about is the construction we did before, okay? So this is going to be, as you read it, like constructing reflections. Okay? Because what do you remember about when you do a reflection, the line of reflection, as it goes through the path that the points took to be reflected? Who remembers what? Huh?
Thank you.
Line of symetry does not.
So real quick, if I'm gonna, hang on. You don't have to put this in there. So let me put a line of reflection, right? That there, and then reflect it over here, right? And that's way off, but, and this point took that path, and this point took that path. Imagine I do that symmetrically. This line of reflection for these path, like this path here, you got by doing what construction?
Stand high.
Come on. Heck, it's the one we just did a moment ago. You remember the problem where they gave you the reflection and then asked you to construct the line of reflection? What did you do? You drew one segment between 2 corresponding points and did the perpendicular bisector. To do that, right? But then the reflections went the opposite way. All right, so read through this, okay? So they put their compass up here on A, opened it up, and when they swung it around, they got 2 intersection points, right? So they don't change their compass size, right? So one of these intersection points, they put the compass on here, make a little arc, right? But we need another one to intersect it. Where'd they get it? Put the compass over on this one. Made that arc, didn't they? Remember doing that for reflex? Well, didn't that just effectively reflect that point down to here? That would be our reflection, right? So now all we have to do, because we're not really doing a reflection for another purpose, is just connect this intersection point here with that point. And now we're going to be perpendicular. Right? Does that make sense? Okay. So doing perpendicular lines to a point not on the line is a lot like when we did reflections. Okay? So why don't we all give it a shot down here, okay, on your own, and see if we can do that. And I'll do it as well. So I gotta go up here. I'll do this.
I think it's the same exact one we did earlier.
Nope. The one earlier, the point was on the line. Now it's off the line. So I'm going to go, I don't know, about that far, right? Black. Here we go. And now, I'm going to move my compass down to one of these intersection points and get an arc. Come over to the other intersection point. Get an arc here. And now what do I do?
Draw a straight line right to that. The red thing.
That's called a point. Yep, there we go. How did we do?
I didn't. I got photos.
Ah.
I kind of understand. I don't know, but
Yeah, I don't get the other one.
The other one's easier too.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
You're doing the overthinking a really simple thing, which is common, right? Because we just came off some real complicated stuff, so I think your brain is ready for complicated again, but this isn't it.
It's ready for rocket science.
So, Lily, why don't you watch what I do over in this next one, okay?
I know how to do this one.
Oh, it was the other one. That's right. Never mind.
Let's go back.
Okay. Do we need to do the second one, or do you guys have?
We got it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see what's next.
Not ready.
Ah. What are we going to do now?
Oh, we're gonna
Like
buy
we were before.
We're going to bisect an angle. Okay, which means to divide the angle into what?
three.
Two
Bisected.
congruent angles. And the bisector will do that. Okay? So again, take a minute. I'll just run through it real quick, right? I just put my compass on the vertex here. I just make some arc that intersects the angle twice, right? So now I have these 2 points, yes? Keep my compass the same size. Come over to one of these points, make an arc out here. Come over to the other point. Get your other arc to intersect it. There's our 2 distances, right? So we have the vertex, and where they intersected, you just now take your straight edge and draw that angle bisector. Good enough? Let's try it down here, and I'll do it with you. If you want to watch me, you get stuck,
I get it.
feel free. So I'm going to move that up. Put this here. Open it up a bit here. Don't change your compass size. Bring it to one of those intersecting points here. Get an arc. Bring it down to the other one. Get your intersecting arc. And now take your straight edge.
God bless your heart.
Big
Everyone's so maybe get another day.
Jeez, Tony.
Do I have that? I want it. All right, how many have a bisector looks like what I have here?
Mine looks exactly the same.
Okay.
Almost exactly.
I put-
Let's do the second one. It's a little different. That's an obtuse angle, so something a little different you might notice happens.
Yeah.
A little bit.
What did you notice? Anybody did it? What'd you notice?
You get a half circle.
It's
With the void.
It's bigger.
Well, so your
That angle doesn't-
your intersection points happen a little different, right? A different, yeah. So you'll see, right? So let's oopsie daisy. Let's bring that over here.
Wait, does your intersection point go a little deeper?
Yeah, well, that's what I said. Something's gonna happen a little bit differently when it's an obtuse angle. I think you're seeing that. But just proceed on, like you're supposed to, and everything will be fine. So I'm gonna do that.
Uh-oh. It looks weird, doesn't it? Look the same.
Yeah. So what I might do with an obtuse angle, I'm looking at this. You see what happened here? I'm looking at everything being so really close that my accuracy might suffer a little bit. See what I mean? So the 2 points I'm going to connect are really close together. You can probably intuitively tell that if I extend the line through 2 really close points, minute of angle says might not be as accurate. So what I think I'll do is just start out.
Are you recording?
I think so.
No.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So I think I'm going to start out a little bit farther out.
Good looking at
It isn't required, but what in the world? Why? What? So what is this that it's doing here? What?
It's going to run.
Looks like it's locked on there. Touch the what?
Touch the green arrow. No, like slide it.
No, press the little dark tab. by
What
the
green arrow? I'm trying to open it up. Well, it's like it's locked on.
You know,
See
in
the
this
green
book,
circle?
it's
Touch it.
Control F4.
No, see that thing?
Copy.
Touch the green.
No, just
circle
delete it and
once.
get a new one.
That's what I'm about ready to do.
So, touch.
Okay. So are we all good with angle bisectors?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So.
Wait, can we stay on this one a little longer?
Hang on. So we did 3 constructions here, right? I think it was 3. Or perpendicular bisects. We already did that, right? So one right after that was we did perpendicular to a point on the line somewhere. You just had to use your compass and make your own endpoints of a segment and then do the perpendicular bisector, right? Then we did perpendicular from a point not on the line. That construction was like doing which other construction from a while ago?
The line.
What construction was that like? The one that's perpendicular through a point not on the line.
I would say dilation, but I'm not going to
Reflection,
Oh.
right?
A
Okay.
while ago. I was thinking like
No.
months. I was thinking like weeks ago.
So, quick word. I want to talk. The Regis question is going to ask you to do an altitude. Okay. So listen. We need to be on the same page about what an altitude is. Another word for altitude is the height. Say like a triangle, which I know you worked with in with a kindergartner, right? Didn't you?
Altitude?
Yeah.
I still barely know altitude.
So here it is. Altitude is just a line, so like in a triangle or a trapezoid or something. It's a line from a vertex perpendicular to the opposite side. Okay? It's a line from a vertex perpendicular to the other side. You might remember when you were way back when trying to calculate the area of a triangle, you needed the altitude, right? Base and height always have to be perpendicular to each other to get the correct height. Remember that? So let's say we have a trapezoid, right? Not necessarily isosceles, right? But an altitude for a trapezoid might go from, say, this vertex right to the other side, and how? How is it? It goes perpendicular to the right angle. That's the actual height of it, right? Or let's say you've got a triangle like that, right? So an altitude here might come right from that vertex to this side, but perpendicular. So if you were to think of that as a construction, which one would that be if someone asked you to construct the altitude? Which of the ones we did today, which of the constructions we did today would cover this altitude and figure? No, not perpendicular bisector.
The,
Angle bisector.
Man,
when you draw.
So are we doing perpendicular to a line through a point on the line, through a point not on the line? Which one?
No.
Yeah, not on the line. Because here's the segment we want to get perpendicular to from this point that's not on it. So that's that one that's like reflections. You get me?
Yeah.
No.
How would I do this?
Hold on. Wait. What was that? Like,
Yeah, stop going ahead, Abby.
is that like in the third book?
Yeah.
I didn't give it to you.
No, I just want, I don't
Okay.
understand it, so I don't know how to do this.
Why are you going so far ahead?
There's not even four lessons.
Okay.
There's two.
Go to the Regents question.
Since you know-
Go to the Regents question. I believe there's only one.
I got it.
Read that over. We just talked about. Okay? And perform the construction they're asking for. I'll give you a moment to read it. So what construction do we need to do for this one, guys?
Angle button.
Ooh. Jordan.
Come on.
Jordan. Come on, bro.
Perpendicular line.
Well, it's going to be one of the ones perpendicular to a line. Which one?
Right side.
Which one of the ones we did today?
Uh,
Perpendicular from a point where? Not on the line, right? So the altitude's going to be just the construction for perpendicular through a point not on the line. Right? Isn't that what the altitude's going to be? You know, like we did this here, right? Here's a point not on the line. And you kind of did that, and you got like this and this, right? And like that. Okay? I'm not sure how you miss it. Like, it's not like we did 50 new constructions today, but, okay? So you just have to be clear. Which point are you coming from, and which side are you going to draw the altitude to? They'll tell you. Go ahead, just do it, okay? Everyone take a minute, do that. So I will bring this guy down here. Now, some of you might have found that maybe you initially opened your compass a little too far, and what happened?
it went off.
Yeah, you kind of missed so I would, if you see something that's going to be close like that, I might open it up and just see, all right, how far can I get over there, right? Just test that side of it. So
I didn't mean to.
See what I'm doing?
It's on my hand.
Turn on muscles.
Thank you.
pay attention. So if you went too far, you would have been like out here with your arc, right? So I'm going over, I'm saying, okay, that's a possibility, so I'm just going to kind of test it with that, right? Okay, and then we come down here, get on that intersection point, and arc, get over on the other one, bring it around, I'm a little off there, but, okay. Hey, just got the intersection. Get my straight edge. Now I have to do this a little differently here because I don't have like a rule, so I'm going to bring it down through and then I'll shorten it up, I guess. And that's just to see, I can't.
I'm pretty big, but
So-
my abilities.
I'm going to just bring it up so it's like here, yes. All right, so look like that, and I would also just to, right? Everybody with me on that?
Yeah.
I got the, are you recording?
All right, yes, I am, I believe. Yes, I am. Okay? All right, so let's give you the problem set.
Say one. So you can get the
Can we take a lunch break?
Yeah. Hang on.